What's up, everyone? Mikey here,
Oh, and wifey.
and Wavy. We got something to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
So, back in December, like,
Well, we made the appointment in June, July.
yeah,
June to July of 2021. We made the appointment to have you fitted for the new wheelchair. So, I think we did a video on that whole process. Like, we were on the phone for hours and hours. A lot of phone jockeying. Call the repair people. Okay, no, call these people. Call Able Health. Call Mobility Works. We just needed a couple things done to the chair. When we were told, it might be better just to get you a new chair completely. And that was a whole drama. Then we went to the appointment, and as you might remember if you've been following for a while, the appointment didn't go so well. The PT was higher than a motherfucking kite.
it was so bad that she was nodding off. And
Yeah. So when I called to complain the next day, we were told that what I should have done at the actual appointment was just, okay, nope, we're done. I'm rescheduling this. This is over. I'm not comfortable with this, is what we should have done. We had been there for hours. We were exhausted. We were caught off guard completely. And you just don't really know what to do in those kinds of situations when you come face to face with them. So,
because you feel like
powerless.
there's not like other alternatives.
What I should have done was call the other person that was in there over, because it was the PT and the person actually making the wheelchair. What I should have done was says, yo, come here. What is up with her? Because when I tell you, I'm sure I demonstrated this in the first video. When I tell you, she was sitting here typing her computer, and all I see is this.
Nodding off.
Then she stays here for a few minutes.
And then she gets up. And then
So she was thoroughly convinced that you can't feel your feet.
which I can.
The whole thing just made absolutely no sense. So I called and complained the next day, and then I kept calling for updates.
And like when I tell you something, don't you think it's a good idea to listen?
So around March, I believe, maybe April, I called.
Let me just say this. The guy that was making the wheelchair was throwing out equipment or parts that,
Very pushy.
very pushy, and now I know why.
He was being very animated and high energy and dramatic, and I thought he was doing that because trying to distract from the fact that this lady was out here.
Which is understandable, but
The whole thing was a shit show.
when
So
I tell you I don't need this and you keep going, it's a problem.
So I was offered a copy of a summary of the visit when I complained. I said, yes, I do want that. We just now got that copy.
So the appointment was in December.
December 21st, 2021.
I got the wheelchair in June.
Yes.
And today is August 28th.
Yes.
And this came
Today.
last week.
Last week. But you probably remember the video that we put up. Did we put up a video of you with the new chair?
No.
Well, when we got...
Yeah.
So when we got this new chair, I'm not sure if we've gone into this, but the new chair is horrible. What are you looking at?
Well, that deal was 10/26.
What are you looking at?
Oh, date of sign.
Yeah, date of sign. So, I lost my train of thought here.
The
So-
first page.
Okay, wait. So we couldn't figure out for a while why the chair that you received after such a long period of time was so horrible. It was definitely not the right fit for you. It's nothing like this chair.
And my foot, my left foot, after a week, it was so painful
Everything was painful.
that I couldn't even put weight on my foot.
So we couldn't figure out for the longest time why it ended up turning out so horrible if it was supposed to be made for you. Now we know why. We've only just now received the copy.
No.
I'm just flashing it. We've only just now received the copy of the summary of the visit, what this PT wrote down about you. And the second that I look at the first page, I can see very clearly why. Apparently, according to this fucking bitch, you are 5'10" tall and 170 pounds. Back up. Like,
In my dreams.
first of all, I'm not sure what this lady was on to make her believe.
I'm at most 5 foot, 5'4".
At most. And maybe 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that you weren't weighed when you got there.
I wasn't even weighed.
You weren't measured, like when they go to a doctor's office and you stand up on the thing, like they didn't do that. So I'm not sure how she calculated this. So then if you ever had to give it a copy like this before, they do your basic medical diagnoses: cerebral palsy, obviously, posture dysfunction, and wheelchair dependence. Okay.
Yeah, but my posture isn't medical. Like, I can fix that.
So, but this is where this really started to get me. Patient is a 28-year-old male to the wheelchair clinic in a power wheelchair base, worn beyond reasonable repair. Not exactly true. It wasn't.
Not true.
But this is what's flat out wrong here.
So-
The patient is diagnosed with spastic CP and has had a progression of his musculoskeletal deformities with an increased postural deficit and further immobility. First of all, spastic CP is in fact not what you have.
So before you go on, this wheelchair, the old one, there's nothing wrong with it. It just needed new wheels.
And an armrest.
But
After all the phone
in
jockeying,
New Jersey, insurance or wheelchair makers, they discontinue a lot of wheelchairs.
yeah, it's not like a
So,
car where you can rip up some spare parts and use it in something else. Like,
every 5 years, you gotta get a new one.
5 to 6 years, because then that's when insurance decides that, okay, yeah, you need a new one. Bullshit. So, according to her, you have been diagnosed with spastic CP, which is not what we told her at all. We didn't even give her any type of CP.
You don't even have to tell her to know that.
Because spastic CP,
It's like you moving around.
spasticity is when you don't really have control of your movements,
Yeah.
and you're jerky and you're stiff. I mean, an idiot would understand that. So I'm not really sure where she got this idea, or if that's what she thinks is the only type of CP out there, but that's flat out wrong.
And then go on to the one that pisses me off.
So on the bottom of the first page, MRADLs, which is, oh God, do you remember what that's? I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. But basically, it's your activities of daily living, motor, all that stuff, things that you can do. That's listed off on a list down here that is checked off the limitations that you apparently have. She checked off all of them.
So
dressing,
what is it?
Dressing, toileting, bathing, feeding or meal prep, and grooming. When we were at the appointment, she specifically listed off, oh, can you dress yourself? Can you clean yourself up after using the bathroom?
And
Can you
I said
feed
yes.
yourself? We said yes, yes, yes.
No, don't.
I'm just gonna... She checked off every single one of those that are limited. Okay? So, limited, meaning you have difficulty doing them.
Do not have limited abilities to do that.
Which we specifically told her you do not have any issue doing those things. And then on the next page, the first thing you see is she checked off is the words non-ambulatory, which is a lie. You are absolutely ambulatory. I've seen you walk all the way across this track in the back of our apartment multiple times with a walker, which we told her. She didn't listen. So this page goes to the right and left, upper and lower extremities as far as range of motion and strength are concerned. Pretty much all of this is wrong. I mean, so I did look up all of these terms just to be sure that I knew what I was talking about and to double check, frankly, the wrongness of her. It's kind of hard for me to explain right now, but basically she wrote here that your upper extremities, both your right and your left, as far as strength are concerned, are spastic with decreased coordinated movement patterns. So I distinctly remember you sitting there and her saying to you, okay, move your arm over here. Do this. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you, like, she had you do all sorts of these things. Like, you have no issue doing them.
Apparently had a depressed shoulder.
Yeah, she put here that you have a depressed shoulder. And then, so that's what she wrote. Stop it. So then she writes on the lower extremity parts that you have a windswept deformity with an adduction at knees. So if you would like to know what a windswept deformity is, I looked it up. It's when
I don't have that, right?
you do not have it. So, okay, so these are your legs, right? It kind of looks like the wind is blowing, right, against you, with an adduction at your knees, meaning your knees are together. So this is an abduction. This is an adduction.
So
You don't have that. So that's wrong.
go on to the other.
So
Already 11 minutes.
I don't care.
I do.
The only thing that she even has remotely right on here is thoracic kyphosis, which is basically a hunch in the back. But you can also, you stand up
Yeah,
straight.
but that's not.
You're not stuck like that.
Yeah, that's not a medical problem.
That's the only thing she might have had even slightly remotely
No,
correctly.
that's not even correct.
So again, she writes down here, describe the reason why the following mobility assistive equipment does not meet the patient's mobility needs. And she just writes here because you're non-ambulatory. Again, wrong. Unable to self-propel a manual wheelchair due to the spastic CP, which is wrong, because not only do you not have spastic CP, but the reason why it's hard for you to propel a manual wheelchair, meaning just pushing it yourself, is because it's hard for you to grip with your one hand. That's the reason behind that.
Go on to the other ones.
So then we go to the seating and positioning page, where she says that you have a pelvic obliquity and a pelvic tilt, which is like, this is your pelvis, this is your back. Wrong. You do not have that. I look at you every day. I know what that looks like. I've seen that multiple times. That's not what you have. You have apparently a depressed shoulder and a scapula due to scoliosis on one side. That's another thing. She thinks you have scoliosis.
Yeah, it's scoliosis.
You do not have scoliosis. Okay, in most severe cases of scoliosis, it's quite noticeable. Yes, there are mild forms of scoliosis, but I also look at you shirtless every single day. I think I would have noticed by now if I saw a curvature in your spine.
I'm naked every day. So.
And also, you've gotten an x-ray at the chiropractor. There was no sign of scoliosis. So what makes her believe this? I don't know.
Well, if she was on one from...
So let's see. She
I must have
doesn't.
been some good shit.
We told her you don't have any skin breakdowns, you don't have ulcers, you don't have any swelling. She gets that correct. Which, trust me, that's not saying much. But then she kind of contradicts herself on this page by saying, does the patient have any significant postural asymmetries? She puts not applicable. So if the patient supposedly had scoliosis, then how is having postural asymmetries not applicable? See, nothing about this makes any sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Let's see. And then she puts here, is the patient able to perform a functional weight shift? She put no, even though she very clearly watched you move yourself.
I transferred onto the bed.
Oh, God. And then she puts here, is the seating required to manage increased homospasticity? She puts no. But yet she's apparently diagnosing you with spastic CP. So this whole thing is just a big contradiction on this page.
Come on.
But then she puts here that you can't perform an independent functional weight shift due to your neuromuscular weakness and limited range of motion throughout your arms, hands, and fingers. Wrong.
Even though I got on the bed and in the wheelchair all by myself.
Right in front of her. Let's see. What did she put on this page?
That's not really...
Yeah, this wasn't really this didn't say much. Just how would this new wheelchair benefit him? This was an interesting page.
Gotta go through all that.
The justification page. So the only thing I
It
really...
just says why you need this, and let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
So it just says, do you need a tilt? Do you need a pump?
The tilt was very much, I think, pushed on us.
Do you need a pummel? Do you need controller harness? All of this shit I do not need.
It was very much pushed on us, but at this point, you have to understand, we were so exhausted. We'd been there for 3 hours. We'd been on the road for an hour.
But now I know. Because they put all of those parts just to make more money. So they're gonna push that on. And I saw the bill. And it was $30,000.
It was like 30,400 and some change. But this one right here. Michael requires a headrest to support his head and neck and to facilitate midline positioning. I'm pretty sure, specifically told her a headrest isn't necessary. And in fact, all it would do is hurt you.
Yeah, ain't get in my way.
Yeah.
Because I need to lean back to pull on my pants.
Now, to give it a little bit of credit, the headrest was removable, as was, I believe, the pommel, and there was a couple...
we had to take that.
Yeah, there were a few things that we had to do just to make it even remotely comfortable.
Center mount foot platform. That's a fucking nightmare.
So let's see. It will provide postural support and prevent increased swelling throughout his legs while he's seated in the seating system. First of all, foot swelling for you has never really been an issue.
All it did was hurt my feet.
Swelling happens when you have blood flow issues. You don't have those. Now, yes, could you possibly be a risk for that in your old age? Sure. But there's ways to treat that.
Let's just sum it up.
So, all in all, this lady was high as a kite during this appointment, and I think in no way was capable of...
Don't go that way.
Where?
Just
yeah, I know. So, basically, in conclusion, I don't think this woman was in any shape or form to be making these kinds of justifications or judgment calls.
As an addiction counselor, I don't give a fuck if you have an addiction. You don't bring that into the work area.
So what I was told when I complained was that not only were we not the first ones to complain, but also, the directors knew about it. They were working with her on it.
I don't believe in that. Just fire her.
It's hard when you have a contract, though. We don't know her situation.
If you got complaints and all that, You ain't gonna have a contract.
Well, when I called in March to check on the update of the whole order, we were told that she was on a personal leave. She was no longer there, and that your case had been moved to the directors.
And then, yeah.
What I should have done was request a new appointment, because what I believe is that she wrote all that down, the directors took her word for it, never even got a chance to lay eyes on you. I should have requested a new appointment, because then we would have been able to stop the production of this wheelchair that we received and possibly had you reevaluated for a chair that would actually suit your needs.
So now we know. And now we're gonna take the. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we just wanted to make this video for you guys to tell you what this is some bullshit.
Just, if you ever find yourself in this situation,
Get the paperwork.
get the paperwork, get the proof, put it in your personal files or important
Yes.
files.
And advocate for yourself.
It's difficult when you're kind of caught on the spot and you don't really know what to do.
I didn't say nothing because I thought there was no alternative. So if I had an alternative, I would have got back in my wheelchair and go home.
Point blank, I should have stopped the appointment and I should have requested a new one. This whole thing could have been avoided. So,
But we can't go back and lesson learn and.
lady, I don't know where you are, who you are, if you're out there somewhere. I don't know what kind of shit you were on. I don't know where you got it. I don't know what it was. But thank you for wasting time and money.
I'm fucking it all
I'm
So
floored.
there you go. There's a video. Do your research first and advocate for yourself. And I love you. Thank you for watching. I'm going to bed. So, you want to take them out?
I have tattoos now. So. Wolfie says never.
Wolfie said never give up.
Never surrender.
Never surrender and give loyalty and respect to everyone, especially your beautiful self. Thank you for watching.